It's Meko here.
Hey Sam, how's everybody doing this beautiful October? Can you believe it's October already, Miko?
Girl, yes. I'm so happy. I like October. I like
I
August because it's hot and then it goes right into September. October where it starts to get cold and
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
yeah. The colors change. It's not, to
Yeah.
your point, it's not like hot as hell. you
Yeah.
know,
I love it.
like
I
like
love it.
like even here, like sometimes it takes a minute for the seasons to change here where I am near
Uh,
Tampa, but we felt it. Like so, it's
yeah.
nice. It's nice to be able to come outside and even record today. But anyways,
Yeah. And
this
you know what? I
month,
have to get portable so I can go outside sometimes and do
honey.
these recordings.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So listen,
Um,
speaking of October, you guys, we wanted to, it's a domestic violence awareness month. Of course, there's a couple of other things that represents the month of October, but we wanted to particularly do the domestic violence awareness month due to what's going on right now, because a lot of people were dealing with domestic violence way before Corona, and now that Corona has hit, it's just like, they have to deal with it even more now, possibly. So, and of course, they've heard, I'm sure, even if you went through it, anybody that's listening, I'm sure you've heard, oh, you got to get out, or you got to do the, so we're going to try not to say the same things like, okay, I know I have to get out, because it's not that easy. But Sam, do you have any suggestions, or what do you feel about this whole thing?
well, I think it's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate. I mean, it's something I've experienced personally in my life. I know women who have. Um, and at the end of the day, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
We know that the abuser isn't going to do anything. So the bulk of the responsibility, unfortunately, lies in the hand of the one being abused. I have a statistic here. It says every 9 seconds, a woman in the US is beaten or assaulted by a current or ex significant other. 1 in 4 men are victims of some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. So as we can see, it goes both ways, or it
Yeah.
can go both ways. But we both know, the majority of the abuse usually is in the form of a man versus a woman.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess um, at the end of the day, you know, those who find themselves in this position need to get some help at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They really need to understand why they feel like they have to accept this in their lives.
Yeah.
That's how
I
I
mean,
feel
and
about
you
it.
know what? And like you said, with the statistics, it says 5% of the male homicide victims are killed by an intimate spouse. And that's because of, some of them, when they try to get out, they feel like, they stay in there so long to where now the situation is they're, they have to kill. I got to pick up something or something like that. But it says that you have to take a form against all forms of abuse. Speak up, break the silence. Which I know that you guys have heard that, but if you are in that type of relationship, as hard as it will be, there have been a lot of us that have been in that type of relationship, and I know how hard it is to get out. In terms of myself, I had to go through a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you and just, well, I can't lie to you because you're experiencing it yourself. But if you
Right.
are, you have to call that hotline. Like, you have to figure it out. Or if you don't want to call the hotline, which we'll give you the number in a minute. But if you don't want to call the hotline, or if you don't want to reach out, I mean, listen, you have to reach out to someone that you know. Let them know what you're going through. Let them know what you're feeling. Let them know what you're experiencing. And don't let that person uh punk you into, not even punk you, but it says they feel personally responsible for their partner and their own behavior, in their partner's behavior. Like, they feel like they're responsible for that. That is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. And isn't that something? Isn't that something? How can you feel responsible for another person's behavior? All of our lives we're raised to believe and to understand that we're responsible for our own actions.
Yeah.
And here we are. We find ourselves in a situation where we feel, probably because we're an empath,
Mm-hmm.
that their behavior towards us is a reflection of us.
Yeah.
And the only way that I agree with that is only because it's a reflection, because somehow, some way, I feel like I deserve this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're gonna have low self-esteem issues.
Yep.
And then some of them is just a cycle of abuse from when they were younger. Well, let me look at my notes. But like, yeah, from when they were younger, when from kids, from like even now, like when you beat, like when you do certain things and you see some of them getting beat and all of these things, that just carry on from when they get older. It's like, okay, well, I deserve to get beat because that is how it's supposed to be. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. I don't care how you were raised or what you have to learn differently. Deal with your mental health. That's what it always go back to, your mental health. But it says that, they think that it's dangerous to leave. That is the truth. They feel like, they already have kids or their homes, their pets, their finances are a big part of the reasons the victims stay victimized. So all of those things, if you are dealing with that, just know that there is help, and just know that without you taking on that strength of knowing that I can get out of this. I don't have to let this man or this woman do this to me. There is a better way. Pray and put a plan together. I'm not saying just get up and just leave up out of there. No, you have to put a plan together and follow that plan. You're going to be scared because it's a
Absolutely.
scary situation. But what are you thinking, Sam? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I think that's great advice. I think it's wise advice. It isn't wise unless it's a situation where your life is like in danger. Like,
Yeah.
get up and leave. I mean, don't sit
Yeah.
there trying to formulate a plan with
Yeah.
a gun to your head, or if you know that your abuser is going to come home and he told you what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But if you can get a moment, definitely plan your route of escape, especially if you have children. Where can your children go that are going to be safe? Because in the eyes of an abuser, everything is fair game. They're going to use whatever they can use to get you back. So think about where your children can go that your significant other doesn't know, or maybe they do know them, but it's a location where they're not sure where the children are going to be. Sometimes you might have to change their school. You're going to have to take drastic measures to remove yourself from the situation. And you also have to keep in mind of that damn honeymoon phase where you go through these cycles of abuse and they come back, right? Your abuser, physical, mental, whatever, financial abuser, they make you believe that they're really sorry.
Yeah.
I got a tip for you. Here's a tip. And it took me a long time to learn this, unfortunately, but it did, but I got it.
Yeah.
The way a person treats you is legit 1000% how they feel about you.
Yeah.
So if they're hitting you, if they're verbally abusing you, if they're using their money to control you, if they're doing all of these things to you, at some point, you have to see it for what it is. This is they're doing these things because this is how they feel about you. I've had to become very I'm sorry. I felt that coming.
It's cool.
Goodness. Okay, that's how they feel about you. Excuse me. And
bless you, girl. Bless you. It's okay.
I think I don't know. I can't say it's pollen, but golly, I felt it like 10 minutes ago. I knew it was going to happen. I was hoping it would happen when you were talking, but I guess not. But anyways,
like you were feeling it coming up. You was trying to.
Honey, I was like, oh no, I can't stop it. Okay, so let's stop right here and then let's pick up right here. Okay, so basically that's how they feel about you, and you have to accept that. You can't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Like you can't put lipstick on the pig. I mean, you have to see the elephant in the room for what it is. And I think once we understand and we accept the truth about a person, like whatever we had in our minds about them, this idea of this wonderful relationship, once we accept the reality, then we'll be able to make those hard life decisions.
Yeah.
And stay in those decisions.
Yeah.
Stay in that decision. Because like I said, that honeymoon phase is coming.
Right.
Meaning, you're gonna leave, but baby, please, and baby, I love you, and I would never hurt you, and I'm just going through something, and it has nothing to do with you, and but you have to remember, hey, if it had nothing to do with me, then why did your fist run across my face? You know what I'm saying? If it had nothing to do with me, then how come you're using this money? I needed this money for daycare, and you didn't give it to me for the kids, but it had nothing to do with me. Oh, I think it had everything to do with me.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
And that's good. So here's the number, guys. I know that it's easy to find. All it takes is a Google, but it still is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. And listen, and here's it does say you have to create a path to safety. But like she said, sometimes you can't create a path. If it's in dire need, of course, call 911 or slip out the window, do whatever you got to do, get out today, you know. But if you could create a plan, because certain situations, it's not that easy to just up and just leave like that. I already know, even when it's involving oh Lord, like Jesus. Okay, so, but in this, it does say men get abused too. I wanted to say that because, they get left out. There's a big part of men that actually get abused, and it's just like, but it's
isn't that
possible.
crazy? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's crazy to even imagine that, because you imagine the male being the physically stronger sex out of both.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, all right, well, I don't want to undermine it, but it's just as much of a fact as women getting abused. It's just really unfortunate that the abusers walk around feeling like someone owes them something, you know.
And it says, okay, and I mean, I think that's it, but I still, before we close out, Sam, I want to give them, it says, here are a few ways to know if you're being abused, if you're in an abusive relationship and need to get out. Even though some of it is common sense stuff, if he's hitting you or she's hitting you, or if they're always downing you about your weight, or about your mental space, or if they're always downing you about this and that, or making you feel like don't nobody else want you or nobody else will ever want you. Of course, that's obvious abuse. But it does say that if this partner hit you or beat you, if they strangle you, or if your partner is possessive, they check up on you consistently. They're always wondering where you are. They get mad when you are hanging out with your family and friends and certain people and you didn't tell them about it. And it does say that it's healthy for a partner to be jealous. That's human nature. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be jealous, but a small amount of jealousy is healthy. But it's when they start to get abusive with it and the unfaithful, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. That right there is where the alarm bell should go off,
Or if they try to isolate you.
What you say, Sam? I'm sorry.
And to go with that jealousy, with them accusing you of being unfaithful, that they try to isolate you, and that's done very slowly. I'm telling you, that's done very slowly and methodically. I've had that happen to me. I mean, like, here it is. I've known my family my whole life, and all of a sudden I can't hang with them. They don't know what's best for me. They don't, but you do. Right. I mean, it's so subtle. So you have to watch for these signs. I'm sorry. And you were saying, I think the next one was that your partner puts you down. I think that's the next one, right?
They put you down. They criticize you. They hold you hostage. Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah. They threaten you. That's a sign.
And they threaten your family, because a lot of times when the threat can go beyond you, because they know they know that you're scared, and at some point, at some point you might get to a point to where it's just like, I don't care if he kills me. I don't care if she kills me. But then they'll get into your mental space, like, I'm going to kill your mom, or I'll kill your dad, or I'll do this or that. You know what? You have to like I said, create a plan, or either do what Sam said, just get out of there. Because that right there is just not it. And the longer you stay, the worse it's going to get. And
it will never get better.
It ends in death. A lot of times it ends in death. So get out today. And that's pretty much what we have to say on it.
It really does. Death or disfigurement. Because at the end of the day, this person, you have somehow in some way become their property.
Yeah.
You belong to them in their mind. And if they can't have you, no one will.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time, and they mean that. Obviously, this person has nothing to lose.
Nothing.
They're willing to sacrifice and give up their freedom, again, because of issues in their own personal life that have nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with you, other than the fact that you feel like you deserve this behavior
Yeah.
You've put in too much time into this relationship.
Yeah.
You don't want to see this person with somebody else. You
Yeah.
have children. How are you going to raise the children?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to get your money from? You know, so you have to just create a new
Create a
mindset.
safety.
Yeah, a new mindset, because it's clear that the one that you're on is leading you down a path that has one ending, like Meko said, and it's gonna unfortunately end up in a situation that is absolutely not healthy for you. And then you have to keep in mind, we didn't even talk about the children and what they're witnessing.
Yeah.
And I was just reading an article yesterday, Meko, where it said it's one thing for me to be in an abusive relationship, you know, and trying to make my way through that. It's a whole other long-term post-traumatic stress event for the children.
Yeah.
For the children who are witnessing what's going on. And a lot of times, especially if we have children, we have to understand that the day that we decided that we were going to become a parent was the day that we decided that this was no longer about us.
And no longer,
you know, it's no longer about you. And I spoke on this earlier. I tell my kids all the time. I told them when they were young, they wanted to grow up so fast. I was like, listen, check this out. Just enjoy being a kid, because you're going to be an adult a whole lot longer than you're going to be a kid. And you have to remember that. You have to remember that for your children. I know it's stressful. I know it's hard feeding them we know we have kids. Our kids are older now, but we know the day in and the day out struggle and the grind of raising these children. But what you have to realize is that that child is going to grow up and they're going to be an adult a whole lot longer than they were a child. And if they sit here and if they witness you being physically abused, verbally abused, assaulted, you know, sexually abused, financially abused, male or female child, they're going to grow up thinking that is normal. Mm-hmm. And now you have inadvertently perpetuated another cycle for another generation, because you didn't do what you needed to do, not only for yourself and for your children. So I said all that to say, listen, this is, I'm praying for you. You know, I know it's possible to get out of these situations and to live a healthier life, but I'm also praying for your children or for anyone else who is around you who is seeing this type of behavior, because this is what the enemy wants. I mean, me and Meko, we're believers to the core. This is what the enemy wants. He wants to, okay, well, I didn't get you. Okay, I'm gonna get these kids though. These kids sat here and they watched it. These kids, you know, they need counseling. You know, you have to get the children counseling as well. So I think I'm done. But I just want to let you know that we're praying for you, and and we hope that you call the number. Meko, I didn't write the number down. Do you have it again?
It's 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. And like she said, sexually abuse too is in with that, because just because you're married to this person, or just because you guys have combined your lives, as far as like a I forgot what they call it when you're not legally married, but it's like a
I just lost it too. Common law
marriage or whatever. I don't care. If you're being forced to have sex, that's still rape, that's still abuse. I don't care if I'm your man or I'm your woman. That's why, like, no, that's still abuse. But I don't want to keep going over the same things and repeating it, because you guys know the one thing about abuse is you know that you're getting abused.
Right.
It's just a matter of when you're ready to make those moves, be ready, stay ready. Get some people around you, even if it's one or two, and just try and be like, hey, I'm gonna need y'all here with me. This is gonna be the hardest thing I've ever done, but you better, I ain't saying you better, but please do it. And that's it for me, Sam. You got anything else?
Absolutely. No, boo, I'm good. Y'all stay safe out there. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, bye.